But I still remember, I was like, wow, it's still a pillar of a moment where I'm like, my mom was definitely my number one fan throughout life, because you were just such a proponent of like, go do it. And I was like, drop everything, move to Italy, become a chef, no money, like, got it. Welcome to the Uninvited Guest podcast.
Hosted by Samina
and Marissa.
We are the mother-daughter duo.
Turn one of your little friends.
Get ready to ditch the filters.
We're trying to break generational curses. Here, the conversations must flow free because our real life interpersonal growth depends on it. So get ready to be a part of the twists and turns in our own life stories that could give any comic book baddie a run for their money.
If you're up for some heartfelt storytelling that celebrates growth, resilience, and the struggle to keep going, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hello, my name is Samina. I am your resident host, menopausal mommy with 7 years until retirement, reporting from my home in Dallas with open tabs that range from transitional fall clothes. I really need help with that. I really need, instead of just buying a whole new wardrobe, I really need to like figure out how to put summer piece. Huh?
Oh, I was just like, do you want me to help?
Oh yeah, I would love you to help. Put summer pieces and fall pieces together. You know what I mean? I could probably do it in my own closet, but I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So
yeah,
trying to find a few pieces that I can work, seasonal pieces.
Yeah.
And the other one is the U.S. Open tabs. I mean, U.S. Open.
Yeah. That's a good one. U.S. Open's always a fun time.
Excited to go to New York.
Yeah.
To see the finals.
Jealous. So
you
jealous.
had that opportunity to go.
I know. I'm just trying to be a wise, responsible adult and not make the rash decision.
No, I commend that. You know, I always, as a mom, always had to make that decision. There were many times that I let you go.
Yeah.
And I was never present.
Yeah.
Because I had to work, be the responsible one, make the money and so forth. So I said to myself, for once, I'm going to go.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to go. I'm going to finally do this. So
no, I am genuinely so proud of you because I know that, reflecting back now, I remember how many times I was given that opportunity because of you, and you were like, go, I want you to experience this. You only live once, no regrets, go for it. And you always funded that excursion and that adventure for me. So the fact that you're doing the same thing for yourself is this is another checkbox dream of mine that you're doing. So shout out.
Thank you.
You're so worthy. Okay, well, hi. I am Marissa. I am your resident zillennial with 31 days until my 30th birthday.
How many?
31.
Wow.
31 days
That's
until
crazy.
I enter a new decade.
Wow.
I know.
I love that, though.
Me too.
Yay for a new decade.
Yay for a new decade, yeah. And reporting from Dallas with me, Madre. And my open tabs, they're ranging from, wow, I just drew a blank. The Artist Way.
The Artist Way?
I was just let me pause because I just know that you're going to ask. Yeah, so it's this book. It's a spiritual workbook. And it is to unleash your creative freedom. And so I'm doing it with my partner. We're doing it together, which I'm really excited about. But there is just a commitment that you make with yourself to kind of unlearn some things, relearn some things, learn how to practice again without feeling like you need to be perfect, and just allowing yourself to be in a more creative space. And so, I'm really excited about that because I've heard such great things.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I would actually love if you do it. I wanted to give it to you. So if you're down, I'll send you
Okay.
your own copy. You can do it whenever you want. But
Thank you.
Just
I appreciate that because
yeah.
I'm not the reader, so it takes me a while to get to stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty short, and like she's not requiring this like heavy load of work. Literally day one for me is today, and starting it. We read a whole hour last night, trying to understand the task at hand to make sure that we're ahead of the game and like we know what we want to do or achieve. But yeah, it's not like a heavy read. The text is really big, but instead of like grabbing the phone first thing in the morning, getting like that dopamine hit from Instagram, which is draining and we don't know it, right? Because it's like we're like immediately being consumed into other people's lives and other people's problems and other people's, so it's like journaling first thing in the morning. And it's not supposed to be like technical writing or anything. It's just literally thinking whatever comes to mind. Like, what are your worries? What are your fears as soon as you wake up? Like, and teaching you that like, they call it the sensor. And like the sensor is your logical brain that tells you like, keeps you safe. So it tells you like things like, oh, you'll never do that. You won't be able to do that. It's too late to do that. Like, are you crazy? Like, so just all of those things. Yeah. And I need to work through that. And I feel like that is a gift to myself as I approach another decade.
Yeah.
In wanting to be a person that's always open to evolving. Like, I just think that's...
Well, if I can say anything, just knowing that I'm sitting here on this couch with you is a big evolve.
For you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get into that.
I should say it. It's not a big evolve sitting on the couch with you. Sitting on the couch with you in front of everyone is a big evolve.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll need to talk about that. Yeah. And then my other open tab, which is just like something that's on my counter at home, is Chugachino. Chugachino. So, shout out to my man. He has figured out how to make the perfect morning coffee. And we were trying to get away from like creamers, fillers, all the other things, because that's the bad part about coffee. Right? As I drink my vanilla oat milk latte. But this is obviously a pickup. But yeah, so like the home coffee, we're trying to keep it as simple, clean as possible. So we found like an alternative sugar that's healthier, and then Chugachino is mushroom adaptogens. So, all of the benefits from mushrooms. It uses the same process that I was using with Well, so it's high pressure pasteurization to like preserve it. And then they turn it into a powder. And it enhances the flavor. It gives it like a mocha-y type flavor, but it's just mushroom. Yeah, and so it's so good. And there's this brand called Renewer that's like our favorite, but we need more. So that's an open tab of mine.
Got it.
Yeah, now that we've perfected it, like we run out.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you can get it at your local grocery store?
No. I don't think, we haven't seen it anywhere in grocery stores, but you can order it online on the website, Amazon obviously.
Sounds like an auto ship to me.
Yeah. And they do have a subscription, like you can renew every 4 weeks because I know, right? It's like, of course, take my money. There's another gym membership I'm going into. But it's so, to me, like that's something that's so worth it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, good. Well, what is your word for the week?
My word for the week. I am inspired. And this is all going back to the artist way, and a project that I'm working on with my partner, and a conversation that we had 2 days ago. Like, I've just had my eyes open to a lot of things. I don't think I realize the rooms that I'm in sometimes, and I take for granted maybe the rooms that I'm in, or I don't feel that I belong there. So I don't even see myself furthering, like making strides of progress.
So it's kind of like an imposter syndrome type thing.
For sure, imposter syndrome, which is why I think like also this Artist Way book will help. But yeah, I'm just inspired because we had a great conversation, and I'm really going to push myself. And so, yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling quite inspired.
I like that, inspired.
Yeah. What about you?
Me? I'm excited. I'm excited once again about the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
I'm excited about being with Grandma to, we've talked about it previously, how the love for sports in our family comes from the women.
Yeah.
From starting with Grandma.
Yeah.
She was always had us watching tennis or watching football. Better known to Americans as soccer.
Right.
And track and some other sporting events. We always were watching something.
Yeah.
And so, and just knowing that you got to experience Wimbledon with Grandma, and the stories that you came back telling me, how she just learned to love the game through listening to the radio, is just very interesting to me. So I'm excited to hopefully get to see that side of her.
Yeah.
And then I'm also excited about trying that drink that they have. I'm not really a drinker, but it's called the Honey Deuce. I don't even know what it's made of. I'll get back to you. You'll have to look it up.
Deuce.
Honey Deuce. It's the
Deuce.
signature drink, yes,
Okay.
of U.S. Open.
Okay.
So,
Do we know the alcohol that's in it?
no.
Okay. Nice.
I figure just me and Grandma will have a sip of it.
Stay tuned.
We'll have a sip of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. They did have a signature drink at Wimbledon.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
And didn't they have some kind of like strawberry? They had some kind of dessert that's always a signature dessert they had too.
Oh, I missed out on that. I would have totally eaten my calories over drank them.
Yeah. I think they have some kind of like dessert thing. Like it's like a pound cake with strawberries and cream. I don't know what the name of it is, but it always sounds like interesting. Sounds like a trip to me.
Sounds like a trip. Going back to Wimbledon, even though it just happened. So
there's always next year.
There's always next year. Okay. So getting back, actually, not even getting back. That's like the perfect transition into what we wanted to talk about today, which I'm excited about because, to your point earlier, being on the couch, having conversation in front of everyone, like this is a manifestation of you being my number one fan.
Always.
Yeah, which is like your motherhood mantra has been like, I will be her number one fan. And that has been from day one. And it has evolved in definition and evolved, I think, in like physically how that shows up, and mentally, emotionally how that shows up. But you have always been my number one fan.
Yeah, good times and bad times.
For sure. And I think like naturally, every parent has intentions to be their kid's number one fan, right? Because you're just like, this is my kid, like this is my offspring.
Right.
If I'm going to support anybody, this is it. But I think it's easier said than done.
Absolutely. I think you can obviously talk the talk, but you have to be able to walk the walk, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that is hard, especially as parents, because we envision our children to be something, right? And I think when a lot of people go off course, parents, is when the child is not necessarily going in the avenue that they expected them to go.
Yeah.
What they thought that their child would be best at.
Yeah.
And so that comes as a parent learning to, okay, that's not what I would have thought, but okay, this is your dream. And I'm still going to stand by you. whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
pass or fail.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still gonna and if anything, we'll just work it out. You know, but I always wanted you to know, and I know I always told you that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I am always gonna be, no matter what they say.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be your number one fan. Today I'm still your number one fan.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's the best. She's the best, y'all. She really is. Okay, so talking about like walking the walk, I now have a question. Like, what was probably the easiest walk for you with me in supporting? And what would you say is like the hardest walk the walk? Or maybe not even the hardest, but like a hard time where you like really were like, oh, this is what it means to walk the walk. Like, does anything come to mind? Oh gosh, that is never good. When a laugh precedes what she's got to say, she's coming up with something.
No, I want to say probably when we had our hardest time.
Yeah.
You know, when it was your 8th grade year.
Yep.
And
let's talk about it. Let's just get it out of the way.
You know, I recollect all the times that I'll never forget, like, 2 things actually. So like, I think at that time I still had a flip phone. I think. I don't really remember.
Flip phones are coming up a lot today.
I had a flip phone. I think you already had an iPhone, but I think I was, that was another sacrifice, right? So I got you the better technology, and just so you could stay cool with your friends or whatever. But I do remember I had to get an iPhone at that point because I would get these constant emails from the dean. And unfortunately, they weren't positive emails from the dean. So, and then I also used to get phone calls from the dean. And so that, I want to say, was probably the hardest walk the walk. Because, but I was still your advocate. At school, I was your advocate. It was just the battle between me and you.
Yeah.
Me still showing, I still love you, even though I don't know what you're going through. I don't know why you're fighting the system, but I'm still believe in you.
Yeah.
So I want to say that was probably the hardest.
Yeah.
And then going back to, you said the easiest?
Yeah.
I'd probably just always reiterate that you're just a beautiful girl. That was because that was the easy say,
Yeah.
just that you were not just beauty on the outside, but you were beautiful on the inside. And so, and I actually think, now that I say that, because a lot of people would always say, oh, your daughter's so beautiful, and I would always say, but I'm blessed that she's actually more beautiful on the inside than the outside. The outside is just a bonus, because you always want someone that's a good person and that's a beautiful person inside. So yeah, that was probably the easiest walk.
The walk.
The walk.
Yeah. Thank you, first of all. Thanks. For the good and the bad. I don't know any kid. Actually, Savannah, my best friend, apparently did not give her parents any hard times, but I got the details. No, I'm just kidding. No, like, there, I guess, are some scenarios where parent-child, there's no strife or difficulty in raising the kid. But for some, including myself, I had my years of challenge. And that year was definitely a year. But I think, even to me and you walking the walk, even though I wasn't willing to digest it in the moment, I then was able to lean on that when it was time for me to come back to you. I was like, she never denied me as her child. Like, she never was like, well, you know, forget this mom thing, like, you know, which is an option, right? Like, if we're just being very real about the human experience, there are parents that just give up.
Nah, I have to say, there were a couple days I probably said, where did that old child that went to
For sure.
Where did the other child that went to sleep, where did she go? Because this is a totally different person. But I didn't give up on you. But I just kept thinking, where did she go?
Yeah.
That is not the same person that I put to bed last night.
She went to sleep. And she stayed there. But yeah, like, that was... for me, again, because you always also reiterate, like, no regrets in life, like, that was just a necessary chapter of our story.
Yeah.
But I gave you a hard time, and it really tested your faith in me, in yourself as a parent, walking the walk, which I, commend you. And then also thanks, because that's really sweet about, like, the inside. But I think that also comes from you walking that walk. Like, you and Dad, I feel like your heart postures are so beautiful, that it was easy for me to take that same stance and, like, who I wanted to be in the inside. And so, yeah, that was just, I don't know, always something that stuck with me.
Yeah. Those
were you guys were my inspirations.
Oh, so we love that.
It starts with you. But another thing is, like, for parents, what advice would you give to parents? And I'm saying this as, like, a bonus mom. If we were having a conversation, I was coming to you and I'm like, I don't know how to support this kid in this moment. What would you tell me?
I would tell you, first of all, that we're all children are different, right? And they're different from us as an adult, right? Yeah. And so we have to give them grace, but we have to somehow remember to remain calm in the situation. I think being calm is probably one of the hardest things to do, because our internal temperature when we're frustrated, can spew outwardly.
Right.
But I think, I used to always tell you, before you speak, think about what you're going to say. So pause and then speak. And that also relates to your children as well. Sometimes you may need a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is to say the wrong thing, right? Or, so yeah, I just think it's just take pause. Just remember, the child is trying to figure it out just as well as you are.
Yeah.
They're not going to be who you necessarily want them to be. They've got to be who they want to be.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of remember that. So yeah, I just think the biggest thing is just to take a pause. And then, if you have to take a step backwards, and just guide them in that direction. Like, if, let's say for instance, you like basketball. Kid has no interest in basketball.
Yeah.
But they really like baseball.
Right.
And, but so what you want to do is then, okay, you got to learn the sport. You've got to put them in that sport, right?
Right.
But you still then have to show a love for your kid in that sport. And I want to bring that back to, I knew nothing about volleyball before you started playing, right?
Yeah.
Knew nothing about the game, but I got to learn to love the game through you.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought, and that's important. There are a lot of sports out there, or a lot of activities you had been in.
Yeah.
But I was able to sit back and like, okay, if this is what she likes, I'm going to like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Like, when you said that, it immediately made me think of like how life is so exciting through a kid's eyes. And even through the tough times, if we decide to take that lens of perspective and say like things are exciting through a children's eyes, like then it leaves more room for support of their actions, even if we don't agree with them. Because I'm too small of a human being to say I know all of life and the best for the person coming behind me, even if it's my offspring.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I just have to your point, leave room, give grace for their human experience, and then kind of create like the little guardrails, so to speak, when they do make the mistake so that they don't fall off. I remember something else you would always tell me is like, I'd rather you make the mistake at home when you're young than you go out and you're now on your own and you're having to navigate through all of these difficulties and like tumultuous parts of life that already exist, right? Yeah. And so it was just, funny enough, like, I don't think, now that I'm like almost 30, I'm like, I don't think I use that as much as I should have. Not saying like, oh, I wish I would have gotten in more trouble. I don't think that, but in knowing how supportive you were of me to be bold, I'm realizing I was less bold than.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, in some areas. In other areas, I was very bold. But in some areas, yeah, I'm like, I could have been bolder. Yeah. Because you allowed for that. Yeah. I fully, though, had a fear of being so bold. Like, I think I told you, and I think I spoke about it in an episode, of like, it was almost your support of me going to Italy and being a chef underneath that chef that I wanted to work for, like, deterred me. I was like, why is she so supportive of me just like uprooting my life, moving to a different country, like, you know, just changing all of these plans to go cook? Like, and not to say like, that is such a credible, like, beautiful job and skill to have. And it's something I deeply love and have a passion for. But it was interesting. Like, I didn't do it because you were so supportive.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I mean, here you are as a parent, you're thinking like, go do it, you know? And I would always say, you know, while you're single, while you're young, you know, why are you without children? Go test all these areas of life. Go move into another country. Go do what you know, switch different jobs so you can figure out what you really want to do in life, because once you have to think about other people, those factors change, right? Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't to scare you off. It was definitely just to be like, if that's what you want to be a chef, if you want to live in Europe, then go, because you're only an airplane away as far as I was concerned. And then if you learn more cooking skills, great for me, because that means I have more dishes I can come eat. I could actually come visit you in Italy and have some wonderful dinner. Yeah. You blew it.
I did.
Yes, you blew it.
I 1,000% blew it. It's crazy because I look at that moment and when people ask me like, oh, do you have any regrets in life or whatever, it's like that moment is so clear. It clarifies itself. It comes to the forefront every single time. I don't speak of anything else. Wow. And I just remember, like, I remember being there. I remember having the conversation. I remember even like having the conversation with myself. Like, how do I approach my mom and tell her that I want to go do this? And like, this guy approved of this. Like, I don't know. I felt like so much of a child that I'm just like, you have to come with all the answers that a parent is going to ask. Like, who is this person? Are they legit? Like, you're going to a different country. Like, and I think because like, you didn't ask any of those questions. You were just like, oh, that's so much. Like,
I think I believed in you that you had already done the work before, because you were an adult at this point, right? Yeah. So I already believed that you had already figured that part. You weren't going to just throw yourself out to some unknown person. Right. So I think that's the reason why I was so supportive and didn't ask the question as if you were a teenager. Yeah. Now, if you were a teenager still at home, that I definitely would have been, I would have got your dad on him. We would have been, doing the detective stuff. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was just, I remember that moment. But I still remember, I was like, wow, it's still a pillar of a moment where I'm like, my mom was definitely my number one fan throughout life, because you were just such a proponent of like, go do it. And I was like, drop everything? Move to Italy, become a chef, no money, like, got it.
Well, I'm thinking all these kids that backpack after school, after they graduate from college, they take a gap year between high school and college, whatever they take it.
Yeah.
Like, what is the difference? And obviously, if you're going to be a chef, you're going to eat. I know you're going to eat.
Yeah. If anything, I'm going to eat.
You're not going to be starving.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, to the next one.
To the next one.
I'll
maybe whenever you have this scenario come up in your life with your children, you'll figure out how to be supportive, but also make sure that, I don't know, because I'm like, I mean, I definitely know we're supportive, but make sure they
feel. I don't know what the terminology. Maybe it's validated.
Because I don't know either. I'm like, every time I say it, I'm like, what is that exactly?
And fill in the blank. I really don't know what the term is for it, but because it's not like I don't necessarily want you to be intrusive, but I want you to be. It was like curious, I guess, like more. Supportive curiosity.
Okay, so then you'll learn how to hone that craft by the time you have children at that age.
Yeah, for sure, because
then they'll say to you, "Why are you asking me all these questions?"
Because my mom didn't. Okay,
like, Mom, didn't you realize I've already done all that work?
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I think that's literally a trial by trying.
Yeah.
You just don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
And my kids might be completely different. They will be different than me. I just am going to already have that preset thinking that they're going to be so different from who I am. But I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with positive curiosity, because I just always go back to that moment.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until now. That's why you decided not to do it.
Yeah. But I will say, now that I'm older and I'm an adult, and I do feel like I have your full support still, and there's no questioning that, because this woman got on a hot air balloon for my 21st birthday, and my mom is afraid of heights. I knew that, so I didn't tell her until the night before that we were going on a hot air balloon ride.
Did you tell me that before the day of?
No, because we had to be there early.
Okay.
I told you the day before.
Okay.
But I already purchased the tickets, everything was already planned out, so I was like, you gotta go. And that moment was another moment of solidifying how supportive you were of me, because you're just I do not want to do this.
Yeah. I said it right then. I did. I said, can I just meet you on the other end, is what I said.
And I was like, no, I can't go into my 21st birthday without you. This is what I wanted. I wanted a trip with my mom for my 21st birthday. And
well, shout out to how many kids want their 21st birthday with their parents, by the way, or their mom anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that just is a testament of our friendship, our bond, our commitment to each other, is that one, I just haven't been a big partier. I'll enjoy every once in a while going out, but it really is a special occasion thing. Right. And even in that time, I wanted to be true to myself and what I wanted, and I wanted a luxurious trip.
Yeah. You think that started with your 9th birthday?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I have such a high expectation for birthdays now, and I have a really hard time celebrating birthdays, because I just have a high.
Do you want to tell our audience about your 9th birthday?
Yeah, I can very quickly. I will say that my mom planned a whole trip to Hawaii for me for my 9th birthday. And not only that, I sat in first class all the way to Hawaii. And the pilot or the flight attendants wished me happy birthday on the way to Hawaii, along with the entire flight crew and passengers. And yeah, the whole trip was about me. The entire trip, from the car that we rented, which was a Jeep with like the doors off, the top down and everything, and to like the things that we did.
Yeah.
Even though it was educational, like we went to Pearl Harbor and we did, a few educational things, which is obviously just a part of your bread and butter.
Right.
But everything was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my 9th birthday. I hadn't even gotten to,
not even double digits.
Not even the double digits. And so, yeah, from there, I think I just had a standard for birthdays. So 21 hit exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And it was with you and my best friend and her
Aww.
mom. And I wouldn't, it was spectacular start to finish.
It was.
10 out of 10 recommend. Anyone that's young, I know society says go to Vegas, get wasted because you could drink or whatever. But you only turn 21 once. You only turn every age once, actually. Fun fact. But really sit with yourself, journal, figure out where you are in your life, and if that's something that would resonate with you in celebrating you. Do you feel like that is what you're worth? Are you worth a drunken night? And some people are yeah, that's all I want. Not judging. Mm-hmm. But if you want more, go get more for that. Go do something else. Be bold and be true to you, because it's your day.
Yeah. Even if it's something simple as having a massage.
Yeah. That's all I want now.
Yeah.
Just,
you don't have to go on a trip, but just something, like you said, for you.
Yeah.
Other than just drinking. Because really you can drink any other day after that, honestly.
Exactly. So. You got a lifetime.
Yeah. And you may not get those massages. That one-time treat, you may decide, as much as I would like it, I can't do it. So you might as well treat yourself for that time or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or have your friends and family come together. If it's something expensive and you only want one thing, have them come together and pitch in to buy you that one thing. If it's whether it's an experience. Or it's a gift.
Speaking of experience, have you heard about those day passes to the hotels and stuff like that, where you don't spend the night, but you can enjoy the Ritz or the Four Seasons, and they're letting you use the pool and the and the spas, and then that's a whole thing.
Do you know what it's called? Is it an app?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm leaving that up to you to find it.
Great. On my next week's Open Tab, we have whatever my mom is talking about. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I'd so subscribe to something like that.
Yeah. Instead of spending, if you don't have to, most of us can't afford to stay at the Ritz or the Four Seasons, but we would love to get massages there, or just hang out at the pool or whatever.
Or do a little staycation with all the activities and amenities that That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Also, it's a win for hotels.
Yeah,
honestly,
absolutely.
It's pretty sure it's probably their ways of being creative.
Of bringing in revenue when times are hard.
Well, when times are hard, and also, people are less apt to book a hotel and they want an Airbnb.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hotels are trying to be creative and okay, what ways can we bring people back in?
Yeah.
Day passes. Who would have thought? Well, we kind of veered off a little bit, but I do want, before we close out, I want to talk about as I've gotten older and I've become an adult, and I do feel that I have this solidified understanding of how much you are my number one fan. Now I feel like it's my time to be like your number one fan. Like, I think, you know, when you're a kid, you always say like, oh, who's your best friend? And you're like, my mom, or like my dad, or like, who's your hero? And, you know, that's what you say, your school projects and all the things. And there is truth to that. But as you get older, you have new heroes, you have new mentors, you have new, you know, other people in your life. But now that I'm where I'm at, I'm like, I am so your number one fan.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think it really, for me, I know it started when you went back to college to go get your second degree. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, that is so bold of you.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool. Because you really did prove to me, like, age is nothing but a number, you know, like, you can do anything you want as long as you just go for it.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's when I first, I guess, can recollect that. I was like, oh, I'm such a fan of her. Aww. And then there's been, you know, little moments in between life, but also this podcast is like a manifestation. And your yes was a little hesitant at first. You were like, I was like, Mom, I want to start a podcast. She was like, yes. Actually, she was like, yes, you should. And then I was like, with you. And she was like, yes. What?
But it was an easier yes than the tattoo, which is still done happening, by the way.
If you're my number one fan, you would go get a tattoo with me. I'm just saying, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for you really to show up and show out.
No.
Y'all, if she doesn't have a matching tattoo with me by my 30th birthday, I'm going to go crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
I might get it stenciled.
Get a Sharpie and does it every day. Yeah. As soon as you wake up, you're like, there it is. Yeah, but no, like this being able to have these conversations with you and like document them and hopefully reach people and support people and like let them know that we're here in the smallest but biggest, hopefully, of ways is like, yeah, I'm just like, wow, I'm such a fan.
She's over here fangirling. Love it.
Love it, girl.
Oh, I love it. You know, I'm still your number one fan regardless. So, and I appreciate that too, though. Yeah. That is reciprocated. I love that.
Yeah. It's, I think, again, we've talked about this, but like when you realize that your parent is just as human as you are, you have to support them. Mm-hmm. Like, you're like, how can I keep you going forward? Mm-hmm. I want you to have the most like full life. So there has to be a beam of support for you. And then one that feels like close, proximate. Because you could have, you know, strangers, random, even some friends, like in passing, colleagues, be like, oh yeah, you know, Samina, do it. But it's different. It hits different when your daughter or your child is that support system, and vice versa when your parents are that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. It's amazing.
Shout out. What dreams you got?
Ooh, you know, it's still Costa Rica.
Yeah, I know that.
It's still, you know, that's one dream. And, you know, Honey Dad just showed someone's house that's almost completely done. And I was like, whew, yes. Mm-hmm. That's still my dream. Mm-hmm. So next, open tab will actually be somewhere to stay, vacation.
Hey, we're going to Costa Rica, y'all.
We're going to Costa Rica. We just got to pin down the dates.
Pin the date. Okay. Well, I'm excited, and I know that it's a dream that you will achieve. And I can't wait for you to live out that, because you deserve it.
Thank you.
Along with everything else.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So thanks for being my number one fan.
Hey.
Well, and thank you all for listening, and hopefully this episode resonated with you in some way, capacity. Feel free to share it with anyone that you'd like or that you feel could use this message, because we love hearing from you, and like the growing community of supporters of Uninvited Guest is honestly thrilling me week after week. So, yeah.
Yeah, we love that. Yes, let us know how you support, how you're number one fan of your either your children or of your parents. So
So we will talk to you very soon. And until then, be well, be great, be kind. Bye.